you're here to join us for this Rising Ninth Grade information session. I am Brian Rabin, PTSA President for Wooten High School. And, we're glad that you're here this evening to learn a little bit about Wooten High School. We're so pleased that your students are going to be joining us next year. And this is a perfect opportunity to get involved in the school community. We have lots of great positions available on PTSA. We have folks that are rotating off. They're parents of graduating seniors. And so we look to ninth grade parents to join us and help us with all the great activities for PTSA. So we have a number of executive board positions. And we also have a number of positions that don't require quite as much time as the executive board positions. So you can find a lot of information on the wootenptsa.org website. You'll see this recording from tonight's event will be posted on our YouTube channel, which you can also find on the wootenptsa.org website. You can find the website in the chat. Please bookmark it. We hope that you come and visit us on the site. You can buy all your Wooten gear in the PTSA store. And you can find out about all the positions that we have open, all the roles and responsibilities. And we do hope that you consider volunteering for PTSA. So we do have elections in May for the executive board positions, and ninth grade parents can run for those positions. So email me if you're interested, and I'm going to turn it over to our principal, Ms. Bolden. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rabin. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule and joining us this evening. My name is Kim Bolden. Some of the faces are familiar, well, the names on the screen are familiar to me. But for those of you I've not had the opportunity to meet yet, my name is Kim Bolden. I am the very proud principal of Wooten High School. This year marks my 19th year here, and I have had the absolute honor of serving as a teacher, an administrator, a department chair, and now the principal of this fine school. And so I want you to know first and foremost that like me, there are a number of people in Wooten High School, our entire staff, and that are truly committed to our students. And we just love what we do. So we are excited that your soon to be ninth graders will be joining us next year. And because there is a bit of a gap between when we do the registration process to when we actually onboard our students later in the summer, the PTSA actually came and said, we need to have something in the interim to give you some information, to know what you can look forward to. And that's exactly what we intend to do tonight. I just, again, thank you for being here. We appreciate any questions you may have, and we will certainly capture this presentation. It's being recorded so that if you have friends or someone that wasn't able to attend tonight, they can certainly see this recording. And so with that, I would first like to thank the PTSA. We have an amazing group of individuals who work incredibly hard on behalf of our whole school community. And we cannot do all the fabulous things that we do without the support and without the partnership, quite frankly, of our PTSA, of our boosters, of our patrons of the arts. All of these are parent volunteer organizations. The event tonight is sponsored with our PTSA, and we are going to encourage you, just like we encourage our darlings, to get involved from the start and join in and begin to think about how you want to share your time, your talent, and your energy with our fabulous school community. We love our parents and we want you to be part of our partnership. And so we encourage you, and the PTSA is just one of the great ways to do that. So we would like to extend an offer to you to think about and then join in for all of the great events that the PTSA sponsors and all of the great ways that they contribute to our school. And so with that, I want to share a little bit around our program and what we have for you tonight by introducing some fabulous people who support the mission and the vision of the school and who work really hard alongside all of our teachers and our staff to make sure that we are doing right by our kids. And so we'll do the next slide, please. Thank you. You already met, oh, one back for me, please. Thank you. We already met Mr. Brian Rabin, our PTSA president. Again, Mr. Rabin has been instrumental in so many events and so much leadership in terms of helping us organize and coordinate our efforts on behalf of our students. So again, I would like to thank him and Nikki Bosser, who does an amazing job and the behind the scenes person to make all of this work. I also want to recognize a few members of our staff who were here this evening. The first being Miss Ariel Markowitz. Ariel, if you just raise, yeah, there you go. Ms. Markowitz is the head of the counseling department, and she and her fabulous counselors have been over to Frost and Cabin John and have been working with our students to transition them over the course of the school year, our 8th graders in particular. But she and her department are awesome in working with our students and working on the academic, social, and emotional needs of all of our students. And I would also like to introduce Mr. Al Leitzy. Going a little out of order, bear with me. Mr. Leitzy, if he can say hello so he can pop up on the screen. Mr. Leitzy is our athletic specialist.
Hi, everyone. I should be up on the screen.
You're there, Al. Thank you. Mr. Leitzy is our athletic specialist, and he is responsible for coordinating all things athletics at Wooten High School, and he'll be speaking momentarily. We also have our administrative team joining us, our administrators, and I will like to introduce them as well. We have Mr. Brad Roner. Mr. Roner is the current 10th grade administrator. We have Mr. Hitchens. Mr. Hitchens is our 11th grade administrator. We have Mr. Mamana, and Mr. Mamana is our 12th grade administrator. And we have Ms. Walker, and Ms. Walker is our 9th grade administrator. And you will see how you will hear from all of them this evening on different topics that we think you would like to know right about now in planning for your summer and in planning for closing out the year. Before I turn it over to Ms. Markowitz and Mr. Roner, I want to say this: we're here to support and help. We know that transition between 8th and 9th can be intimidating and overwhelming. And so we're here to support that transition for your students and to make sure that you're feeling comfortable with the next step as they are entering into high school. I hope that you reach out to us should you have any questions, and know that we are so excited to welcome your class to Wooten High School. So there will be a pop quiz at the end of this. You must know we are the Wooten Patriots. Patriots rule. We wear red, white, and blue. And so as we move through the evening, you'll find out a little bit more about the Patriots if you don't already know. I have a feeling you do. But please feel free to put your questions in the chat as we move along. And I thank you for your time and attention this evening. And so with that, Mr. Roner, next slide. Okay, Mr. Rabin answers those questions about getting involved, and I think he will come back to that as well. And then again, our administrative team, you can see the names and the positions with the administrative team that I have already introduced. And so Ms. Markowitz, I think you are up next. Have a great evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Ms. Bolden. Good evening, everybody. As Ms. Bolden said, I am the head of the counseling department, and there are 8 counselors, including myself. The 7 other counselors have a caseload of about a little under 300 students each, and I have a caseload of about 150 students. And it's divided based off of the first letter of your child's last name. And so, Mr. Roner, you can click on that first link where it says our current counselor breakdown, just to show the example. So this is our current breakdown. You can see the administrators listed, The counselors are on the left-hand side. So Ms. Cope is the first one listed. And you can see it's based off of that, like I said, that first letter of the last name. A through 10, our current 9th graders would have Ms. Cope as your child's counselor. And so right now we haven't broken down the caseload, for next school year, but we typically do that in June. So we'll have that out and available to you all by the end of June. And you can go back to the slides. Perfect. So we are so excited to work with your children. We do work part-time throughout the summer. And so the best way to get in touch with us, if you have any questions, is to email us at our .org accounts. Or you can call the counseling department. We have a fabulous counseling secretary that will be happy to assist you and get you in touch with us. And now that you know who I am, please know you're welcome to email me or call me, and I will be more than glad to assist you. We meet with your children a lot, and we do formal guidance lessons. We talk about course selections for the next school year. So we do that at least twice a year, but informally, we meet with kids all the time. It is our favorite thing to do is those one-on-ones with your children, get to know them, help them just explore their high school journey and make it the best for them. They are welcome to come. We have an open door policy, so students are able to come to the counseling department before school, during advisory, which we'll talk about in a little bit, at lunchtime, or even after school. They can also make appointments with us during the classroom day, so during class time. Of course, if they're in crisis, we will be happy to assist them, and they can come anytime then. And we sometimes will just send them passes to see us during class time. So what do we do? Well, we do a lot. We help with our children's social emotional concerns, of course, academic support. We advocate for your children. It is a big transition to high school, and we know that. And so we connect deeply with your children because we want to help them make high school just the best for them. Next slide, Mr. Renner. So some just thoughts that I put together for, encouraging, just advice, I guess, for our 9th graders is to find extracurricular activities to participate in. So we're going to talk later about clubs and sports. You can have your children get involved in our theater program or the music program. Whatever it is that makes your child happy, we really encourage to have them connect to the school. And when they do that, they'll also find other peers that have those same interests as them. So having that connection, meeting other kids, now that we're in person, it just makes the high school experience so much better for them. So that's some really great advice that you can encourage your children to do. Also, to build academic skills. Like I said, moving from middle school to high school is a big jump. There's a lot more homework in high school. A lot of the knowledge that they learn it goes in more depth, right? And so having the ability to manage their time, they can learn how to write in their agenda books that they are provided at the beginning of the school year to figure out how much time do I need to spend on this assignment? When I have something due in a couple weeks, when should I start planning to do work for that assignment? Things like that. So understanding their time. We want them to work on their self-advocacy skills by connecting with their teachers, going to talk to their teachers, asking for help, asking questions, and just having conversations so the teacher understands who they are as a learner. And of course, that goes along with communication, being able to express what their needs might be, and learning how, again, to communicate those self-advocacy skills. And another thing, or myth maybe, that I often hear parents say, oh, now that you're in high school, I can step back and just let you soar. And I like to tell parents, we still want you to be involved. We know that 8th to 9th grade is a big jump. And so we don't want you to quite let go yet. We don't want you to do their work for them. That's not what I'm saying, but we want you to be their support. And so to know that you're welcome to connect with me, the counselors, all of the teachers, we're like one big family, right? We collaborate all together to support your children to make it the best for them at Wooten High School. So stay in touch and let us know what we can do to support your children. I've linked the counseling department website. You can find it directly from the Wooten website. For those of you who are not quite registered to be future enrollments, Ms. Nicholas is our wonderful registrar, so you can always reach out to her should you have any questions about that. And then the last thing I'm going to go over is our current schedule. Now, our leadership team does meet in the summer to evaluate what's working and what's not working. So this is subject to change. However, what's not subject to change is the start and end times of our day. And so we have our warning bell at 7:40 in the morning, and we have 5 minutes in between class times to get from one class to the next. And the day ends at 2:30. Within the day, you can see there are 8 periods. 5th period is our lunch period, and our lunch period is for all of our students. It's a closed lunch period. Students are not allowed to leave campus, but they can eat in various places throughout the building, not just the cafeteria, but a cool area called our commons and in the hallways, and when it's nice out, even at the stadium. And so when we talk to your children to talk about their course selections for 9th grade, now you can see that why we told them to pick 7 academic classes because of the 8 periods in the day, one being lunch period. And so that leads me to the next slide, which I think I'm going to pass it on to you, right, Mr. Roner?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Markowitz. Thank you for all the information. And I just want to say I agree with Ms. Markowitz. I think the 9th grade year is an important year for a parent to really stay with their child, making sure they're checking the grade book, attendance, working with them, making sure you're seeing them do the work in an appropriate place in the house. That is very important. We can give that advice to parents. One of the several questions that Ms. Markowitz and I are both receiving are from 8th grade parents from you is about course requests and how to make changes and when do they turn into a schedule. So we wanted to spend a little time making sure that we address some of those questions. Some of the common questions we're getting right now is, what if my child right now wants to switch out of one of their electives to another elective? Ms. Markowitz and I, either one, you can email us and we will update those changes on the course request, which you can currently see in the parent portal and the student portal that are live. So when you ask us to make a change, you can see the change the very next day or later on that day once we let you know we've made that change. Some parents and students have been asking, well, we're signing up for this class in the Central High School summer program. Can we make sure that we're in the next math? For example, if we're taking geometry over the summer, can you please change us out of geometry to algebra 2 for the following year? And we've been doing that as well. So as questions come in, please feel free to email us with any of those kind of questions that you have. Another question we're getting is, when does my child get to see who their teacher is, what courses they have, which period? We typically will not activate that in the parent view and student view until the week before school starts, because we're still making adjustments right up until that last week, and students and parents can see their schedules the weekend, and typically it's the week before that we will send a notice out to the parents and saying, okay, you can see your schedules in parent view, and those are the schedules that the students would follow on that very first day of school. And the very first day next year is August 29th. So those are some of the things we just wanted to make sure we answered and we're seeing questions with. Ms. Markowitz, did I leave anything else out that you would like to add?
No, I think you're good. I did get some direct chats, and one of them is about how to sign up their child for summer geometry. So I know you're going to get to that.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because we have the next slide will show a couple things. The local school program at Wooten High School is called the Summer Institute. Most of all of our classes are non-credit class. There is one credit class we will talk about. But also down here below, I also put MCPS Central Summer School. So there's two programs going on in our county. One is at the central location and one at the local school. I'm going to talk about the central school real quick for a second. I'm going to open their window. This Central High Summer program is not based at a school. These are courses that are all virtual. And they, on this link in which we're going to share this slideshow, it will show all the courses they offer. And the way that you select these courses is you register through the parent view. And that's the only way you can register for the Central High School programs. You go on the parent view, there is a drop down for summer school, for Central High School, and then you would select the courses that you would want your child to select. So that is for Central High School. And we struggle because we have a lot of parents that are emailing us about questions and concerns about this for Central High School. And we have really, the only ability we have is there is in here, the Central High School, there's a help request. And if you click on this, there's a way for you to complete a Google form, and it goes to the Central High School program, and then they respond to you directly about any questions that you may have. So that is one program. Again, most of all their credits are credit courses, and that is one of the ways that you could sign up your child for credit courses that are virtual only, and they're free. And then the next one, sorry if I get back to this. Do this. Hold on for a second, I apologize. The local school program is what we have here at Wooten High School, and that allows us to provide certain programs, enrichment courses. And those courses are based on really interest from students. We have a Get Started program that really allows students to jumpstart into 9th grade. We have a music course. We also have a PE course. If you bear with me for a second, I'm going to stop sharing and try this again. In some of our brochure, if you look at this, and this is something we've sent out to the feeder school, they give all the courses here at the local program. And you do not have to do this through Parent View. You do this through a Google form in which we will share. The only credit course we offer is Physical Science B. Typically, this is highly recommended for students that are taking both honors chemistry and honors biology at the same time next year. This gives a good foundation class. It is highly recommended to take this course, but it is not required. The other courses are non-credit enrichment courses. We have the Jumpstart. Again, that allows students to kind of get to know the building a little bit. We have writing the high school essay. And then we have several other courses. Some are geared for upperclassmen, some are geared for prep courses. And you can take a look at this when you get an opportunity. But those programs, again, for us, these are all in person. We do not have a virtual option for these. So if you're interested in these, the registration form we will send out will be attached to this, and we'll be able to kind of look at it yourself and then sign up. Our registration period ends on April 29th. Were there any questions in the chat about the difference between Summer Institute or Central High School, or anything we need to clarify?
Yeah, so there's a question that says, could you speak to why only one credit course is being offered at Wooten this summer? And I think there were more options last summer.
Yeah, so this actually was a direction from MCPS. They really want the local school programs to offer enrichment courses, and they are specifically offering all the courses that are credit-based. So that is one of the reasons they're kind of centrally offering all these courses to give more options to all students in the entire county. The only other credit course that we offered last year, we offered two others, was health, and that's offered in the central program. And then we did offer an honors geometry, and that also is offered in the Central High School. Any other questions before we go into the next?
Mr. Runner, if I may highlight, I would just wanted to say that our ninth grade Jumpstart class, that always gets a lot of rave reviews for our summer enrichment. It is a way for our students to get to know the building, to get to know some of the staff members, and really have solid footing before they come into this big building and start finding their way around. And so that would be my personal recommendation to be able to transition if you're looking for ways in which we can transition our students to high school. That would be one of my strong recommendations. The kids do have a great time in the class, and they also learn a lot about the school. Ms. Markowitz, I'm sorry, I think I cut you off there.
I just got a question just to ask where the Google form was. And then I think there was another chat question.
It was about the health class, because I know previous meetings, a lot of students have taken care of the health beforehand.
Okay, so for your children, they will be required to take a full year of health, and it's a brand new Health B course that the county is still developing. So this coming summer, only Health A will be offered. And yes, your child is able to take that course. We are not offering it through our Wooten Summer Institute, but it is being offered virtually through the county high school summer classes. So you can register your child for that class. And then next summer, there will be Health B that should be offered through the county summer school.
And in addition, the registration Google form is right here on the slideshow. So we will put the whole slideshow in the chat, and we'll also share it after we're done. But if you click on this registration, it'll bring up the Google form for the local school programs, and you can sign up. So with that, we're going to transition. I want to introduce Mr. Joe Mamana. He is the senior administrator this year. Mr. Mamana is going to start out by giving us a fun fact about Wooten High School.
A fun fact. Mr. Roner, first of all, I just wanted to, some people like myself are not as technically inclined to maybe pull something out of the chat. So I just wanted to remind parents that this presentation will also be posted on our website as well, so they can access it that way, because I know we've done several other parent meetings, and for whatever reason, parents have had problems accessing links and whatnot, but this will be available as well. So I just want to make sure parents know about that. I'm going to go ahead and just get right into it. Again, I'm Mr. Mamana. I'm the senior administrator. And what that means is, and I don't know if you picked up on it when Ms. Markowitz basically showed the breakdown of counselors, and they're working on that breakdown. There was also an administrator that was assigned to each grade level, and that administrator stays with that class as well. So since I have the seniors this year and they will be graduating, I then will go down into the 9th grade and pick up the 9th grade class. So more than likely, I will be the one that will be working with the 9th grade class next year. I will get into a little bit about the attendance policy that we have here. And to be honest, a lot of this stuff that that I'll be talking about is very similar to what is going on right now in the middle schools. The only difference is that there's a little bit of specifics that need to be followed. Again, in most elementary and middle schools, we know that parents have usually called in for the attendance. The major difference in high school is that there needs to be a follow-up to any attendance, any excused absence or doctor's note, whether you're leaving early or you're coming in late. There needs to be a paper trail. So we're asking that. It's great for parents to call it in, but we also want you to send in a note with your sons and daughters. Again, whether they're out sick, And there's a list of the excused absences, like court date, being sick, religious holiday, doctor's note, or being sick. Those are pretty standard. There is, if there is something outside of those standard excuses, we ask that a note be brought in and sent to the administrator. So if I was the ninth grade administrator, it would just go to me for approval. Also, the other difference is that in most middle schools, the attendance secretary is usually in the front office or in the main office or right next to the main office. We have an attendance secretary, Ms. Vicente. Her office is right around the corner from the main office. So if a student does come in late, we ask that the student comes in and that the student checks in first with the attendance secretary with the note and then goes to class. If they're leaving early that day, we ask that they get that note in first thing in the morning, and then the attendance secretary will get that student note. So when they go to the teacher later in the day, period 6 or period 7, they show the teacher the notes that they're going to be leaving the building, and they go ahead and they sign out. So there's a sign in and a sign out, which is a little bit different. And then parents can pick up the students. All right. So I think those are the major differences with the excuses and tardiness as well. We ask that when a student comes in tardy, they bring in a note and they check in with the attendance office. And that way they can get them a note to class. To get into lunch, our lunch is what we call a closed campus. That means that students stay on campus pretty much probably like the middle schools. Students eat all throughout the building, and when it is a beautiful day like it was today, students are out and about all over the campus. We also like to open up our stadium for students during this time. We also have an upper field where students can play soccer, frisbee, catch football, and during that time. So again, it is a closed campus. We also know that students do forget their lunches. So parents can bring in a lunch and drop it off in the main office, and the students can pick it up there. We do not allow Uber Eats or any other delivery services. And that's mainly because, because of, especially during the lunchtime, we have an open campus. We really don't want cars coming in. Obviously parents can, and they go into the visitors, but we don't know any of the background or for security purposes, anybody coming onto the campus, especially those delivery services. We also don't want them walking around the building as well. As most of you know, whenever you come in on campus, especially entering the building, there's a way in which you sign in the main office. So that's something that we want to make sure that we stay on top of. And the last thing is that, and it was, I think Ms. Markowitz showed a little bit in the schedule, that one of the periods during the day is called our advisory. And our advisory is a time during the day in which students have lessons that are socially emotional well-being. We also have some of those lessons that, talk a little bit about, time management. But we also use that time not only for those lessons a day during the week, but also as a break for the students. This is a time in which they have 30 minutes to touch base with the teacher, maybe get some reteaching, maybe catch up on some homework, or it's right before, or right in the middle of the day. It's usually a time for students to sort of take a little bit of a break. So if they need to catch up on something or some work, they can. So that's the whole purpose of the advisory, and we've had it in effect for a couple of years, and we've tweaked it a little bit over the years. We found that the 30 minutes is really a good time, so a good time slot. We are always open to changing that, but as of right now, that's the way it is in our schedule. I also will say with that lunch, when the students, I know Mr. Roner mentioned something about the schedule. That is in the schedule as a period 5, and there will be an administrator that's assigned to it. So again, it will probably be Mr. Mamana, that's me, assigned to a period 5. That's not a class, that's just a lunch, okay? I think I'm turning it over to Mr. Hitchens.
Thank you, Mr. Mann. I think we're turning on to Ms. Walker, but was there any questions in the chat we wanted to address? I think we're good. And Mr. Mamana, you did not do the fun fact about Wooten. I'm calling you. What's a fun fact about Wooten that every student should know about when they come in the Wooten?
Fun fact at Wooten. Well, I think Ms. Bolden said the most important thing, that once they come here, they are a patriot.
Good.
Got to know that.
I like it. All right, let's introduce Ms. Walker. Ms. Walker is going to talk a little bit about Patriot Ambassadors and the new orientation and what it looked like last year and what it's going to look like, some of the ideas of what it will look like next year.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome, class of 2026. It's so good to see all of you this evening, and we just want to give you some information about some upcoming events for our incoming freshman class that take place over the summer. I saw in the chat that Ms. Bolden was answering questions about opportunities for incoming freshmen to check out the school, and there's plenty of opportunities to do so. So the first one I want to talk about is our summer tours with our Patriot Ambassadors. Many of you may remember earlier, maybe this year, a little last year and the years prior, Patriot Ambassadors would come and visit the middle schools and just talk to students about school and answer questions about high school and classes, and just have an opportunity to talk with students. These are the same group of students that will provide an opportunity for your child to get acclimated to Wooten. So there will be opportunities in the summer, starting in July and throughout August, on Wednesday mornings, where they'll have an opportunity to visit and have tours of the school with our peer ambassadors, which are our juniors and seniors who are great student leaders in our building that can give you the scope of the building. You get to meet teachers, you get to find out all the cool places in the building, and they will ask and answer lots of questions. And what's really nice that I got to see this year is it's an opportunity for your child to build connections and friends with the students that are coming in, and also with the ambassadors, and it helps to get them connected. So it's a great opportunity for students to participate. You will start to see information on the website that will come through. And then also, as you are officially a Patriot starting July 1, you'll start to get messages from the school, which I believe is connected messages. I saw a question in the chat about that as well. These are automated messages you get from the school about upcoming events and information. It's very similar to what you would get at Frost and Cabin John, but you'll begin to get them here as a Patriot. So just look out for those opportunities, and we will also share information out to the middle school so you are aware of when to check out the website and sign up. So we look forward to having your child participate in summer tours this summer. Another opportunity that you'll have is new student orientation. This is the pretty standard that you've seen in middle school, but at our school, we have new student orientation as well. This year, it will be Thursday, August 25th. MCPS bus transportation will be provided. You'll see the updates about transportation on the website, and you also will be notified. Students will have an opportunity to use their draft schedules to participate in the orientation. Now, as Mr. Roner had mentioned, the official schedules come out the first day of school. So they will receive a schedule that they will follow that day. There may be some minor tweaking, but they will have a chance to see where classes are and meet with teachers and meet their new classmates and just get acclimated to the building. So it's a great opportunity for students to be here, see new students. get school spirit. They have an opportunity to check out clubs and get connected to the school, as well as we get to show them some school cheer and have a pep assembly, which is a great event outside in the stadium. And they get to see our student athletes, our SGA student representatives, and just feel the school spirit that's here at Wooten. So these are some great opportunities that we will have for students. And as I mentioned before, you'll be hearing about these events in the summer as we get closer to the events, and they'll be also posted on the website as reminders. So please look out for the information for them. We would love to see your child there. One caveat that we did last year, and I hope to see we do this year, is we had an evening event for students to come, and we would just love to see our students and families in the community get connected. So stay tuned for that. We had a great feedback about that, and we will look forward to continuing that tradition for this upcoming school year. Is there any questions in the chat? Okay. All right.
Thank you, Ms. Walker. That was awesome. Yes, a lot of wonderful events over the summer and leading into the first day of school. Next person that we're going to introduce is Mr. Leitzy. Mr. Leitzy, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Mr. Roner. And welcome incoming ninth grade students. My name is Mr. Leitzy, and the theme of the evening has been that ninth grade is an exciting year. It's a difficult year though, because there is a transition period, and one of the best things that a student can do is to get involved. And so tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about athletics, how to go about registering for athletics, what you're going to need, where you can find the information, what sports we offer and when we offer them, as well as what's going on with Wooten athletics right now and what's coming up in the community and what's going on in the community right now. So Mr. Roner, if you wouldn't mind, the first thing that I wanted to say is that we don't know the exact date that registration will open, but when it does open on our website, which I'll talk about in a little bit, I will post registration information, and I won't read through every bit of this, but what it essentially will have is it will have how to register and kind of a step-by-step process. In order to register for athletics, you go to Parent View. There will be links there for you, and if you follow the instructions, you can just kind of walk yourself right through registering your son or your daughter for whatever sport it is that they are planning on participating in. If there is an issue with, say, maybe you are coming to Wooten and your residency is outside of Wooten, but you've received a COSA, you'll need to reach out to our school registrar, which her name is listed there, as well as her email address linked to the document. If you continue scrolling down, if you have any issues with Parent View, there are steps to take and there are people to contact. We have a couple of super users, I like to call them, in the main office, and they'll be highlighted with their emails either linked or listed for you. If you've forgotten your password, there's a forgot your password link. If you're looking for a physical form, which is something that is required, that will be linked for you as well. Any vaccination information, as well as medical or religious exemption information will be found on here. And then I like to, based on questions that I get for each season, I put together a list of questions with the answers for you to make it easy. And then you can, of course, contact me via email or call my office with any questions that you have as well. Mr. Roner, if you wouldn't mind going back. Oh, there you go. I will say that our tryouts for fall sports are going to begin on August 10th most teams that are participating in the fall. And I always try to recommend incoming ninth graders to participate in a sport, because you start early, you become a part of a team, you're connected to other kids, you're connected to a coach, you're connected to the building. You get a sense of what it's going to be like to be in a high school setting. And I think it makes it a lot more comfortable for everyone. You do need to obtain a physical. The physical from middle school is not any good once you register at Wooten High School. So you will need to get a physical, an athletic physical, which will be provided on our website. Yeah, you will need to have a proof of vaccination and/or have a medical or religious exemption in order to participate. Now that may change coming next year, but that's the policy right now. We also do a baseline test for any student that's participating in an athletic event, because head injuries are something that we take very seriously, and we want to get a baseline for each athlete. So that if they do have a concussion, we can take steps to get them back to where they can participate in sports. Mr. Runner, if you'd click on the wootensports.com, this is what our website looks like, and you can go to either wootensports.com or you can go to the Wooten website, and you can click on athletics. Mr. Runner, if you would move over to the right, to the 3 tabs over to the right, and scroll up to the top one. Yeah, well, okay, never mind. Over on the right hand side there, those are 3 things that I've tabbed that are taking place shortly. We have a sports festival that is going to going to take place on May the 7th, Saturday. It's one where we're going to be inviting all of the middle school students, as well as elementary school students and future Patriots, to come and meet coaches and meet athletes and and see our facilities. Our coaches and athletes will be working with the kids or providing information to the kids, as well as to the parents. If you could open that, well, I'll open that. We'll open that flyer up in just a second. You can go back to the presentation. But those 3 tabs are going to be where you would find registration information, as well as anything in tryout information. I always list the 3 things that are most important that are going on right now at Wooten High School with athletics on the right hand side column of our website. We do have an auction going on right now. If you wouldn't mind just opening that up. This is our largest fundraiser for athletics. There are items for you that you can bid on, and you can you're welcome to set up an account and scroll down and look at any of these items and bid on them if you would like to bid on them. Right now, you can see we've raised just over $5,000 with the goal of raising $10,000, and the money, all of this money, goes back to our athletes and to the teams. 100% of it goes back to the athletes and to the teams. And if you could go back to the presentation. We also have a sports festival, which is going to be Saturday, May 7th, from 2 to 5 p.m. Over the next couple of weeks, myself, as well as representatives from teams, as well as coaches, will be going to the middle schools to talk a little bit about their programs, as well as to get this information out to the community. And again, it's a time to it's really just the idea behind it is to get everybody together and to introduce incoming ninth graders and future patriots to some of the teams and the coaches that we have here at Wooten High School. And if you could go to the next slide. I've also listed all the sports that we offer and when we offer them, as well as tryout information. You can see in the fall, we offer several sports, JV and varsity sports for most teams. Our golf and our cross country teams are primarily varsity teams, but we do have a JV boys and girls cross country team. It's just not going to be listed. Same thing with our palms and our sideline cheer. We're going to try to have a JV cheer team this year as well. And then we do offer one corollary team in the fall. And like I said, tryouts begin on August 10th. The winter season is our least busy season. There are fewer teams. Boys and girls basketball and wrestling are two big sports. And then we do have, we have indoor track and swim and dive. Indoor track and swim and dive perform their events off of campus. Those tryouts will begin on November 15th. And then in the spring, we offer baseball, softball, lacrosse, tennis, volleyball, as well as track and field. And those tryouts begin on March 1st. And I think that is all I have on my slides. Are there any athletics questions that we saw in the chat?
Yeah, Mr. Leitzy, there's one about when we're trying out, if we're away for tryouts, what happens if we're just not in the, not able to try out because we're away? What's that process?
What I would do is I would reach out to the coaches on the website. There is a list of all of our coaches, and their emails are linked. Their emails are linked to the list. I would reach out sooner rather than later. Some of our teams are a little more competitive than others, and some of our teams don't have tryouts and don't make cuts. So they're kind of once you're on the team, you're on the team. So I would reach out to the coach and let them know what the situation is. And then there are other teams that are very competitive, and if you're unable to make the tryouts, they will most likely offer you a tryout, but it would have to come in a later date, and that would really just be up to the coach. It would be coach based.
Thank you. Is there any other questions?
Mr. Leitzy, can you just speak to JV and varsity and ninth graders? There was a question, are there sports specifically for ninth grade or only JV and varsity? And so if you could go into a little bit more detail in terms of tryouts and how ninth graders transition into our program.
So there are no specific ninth grade sports. I know that in some counties and in some private schools, there are ninth grade teams, junior varsity teams, and then varsity teams. But ninth graders, depending on the sport and just depending on the skill level, can end up making varsity teams. It's rare that they do, but we have JV options for almost every single team that we have listed, and that's there's a JV coach as well as a varsity coach. There'll be a list of expectations and what a tryout look for from each of the coaches. And there's really a spot for every single kid. Anybody that wants to participate in a sport, we can find a sport for them. But as far as ninth graders go, a majority of them do try out for the JV team as opposed to the varsity team. And again, it's very rare that we see somebody ready to play at the varsity level, especially with high contact sports.
Thank you, Mr. Leitzy. And can you also speak to programs, sports programs that are available for our students with autism and students in our SCB program?
Absolutely. So the reason that our corollary sports that we do offer are co-ed team handball is what we've offered the last several years, and that has Wooten has had a co-ed team handball team for the last several years, but in the county we only had five high schools, and there are 25 high schools who had handball teams. So the athletic directors and the athletic department is actually looking for a different option for the fall. So I don't think team handball will be offered, but we will certainly be offering whatever athletics decides in the fall for a corollary sport. And then in the winter, you see we do offer co-ed bocce, which actually bocce is our last team that has won a state championship. We won a state title in 2016, and we won the state title in 2015. And Steve McMahon is one of our PE teachers. Most of your sons and daughters will have the option to have him. I believe he focuses primarily on net games for PE, and a lot of ninth graders do have him. And many of your kids will be recruited by him for bocce and either team handball or whatever athletics comes up with for the fall.
Thank you, Mr. Leitzy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The last person we're going to introduce is going to talk about some extracurricular activities is Mr. Hitchens. Mr. Hitchens, is there anything fascinating or interesting you should tell parents of incoming ninth grade parents about Wooten High School, maybe its building?
Yes, funny you should ask. Thank you, Mr. Roner. I do have to introduce the clubs and extracurricular activities here at Wooten. It's gonna be a little bit of a story time, all right? So I hope you all indulge me just a bit. But once upon a time, I myself was an eager young 8th grader about to graduate from Robert Frost Middle School. And I was a bit nervous about going into Wooten and its big high school. And specifically, I was a bit anxious about the social aspect of it and making friends. I wanted to make sure that people knew who I was and I could find a good group of friends to be with. And so I was incredibly encouraged and excited when in the first week of school, I found out that there was a Seinfeld Appreciation Club. I was a big Seinfeld fan, and I was excited. I remember the second or third week of school, sitting in the classroom with some other Seinfeld enthusiasts and watching an episode and getting to talk a little bit about it at the end. And it was a really, really nice way to meet new people, to kind of an entree into the high school world. And I am telling you that story because I would imagine that you have some children that might be a little bit anxious about coming to high school too, and specifically the social aspect of it. So one of the things that I love most about Wooten is its very close-knit community, and building community is obviously a very, very important aspect of the high school experience for us. And clubs are a great way to join into that Wooten community, to make friends, to nurture student interests. We have fun together, we pursue shared interests together, and we enjoy each other's company. And so I think joining clubs is really a wonderful way, especially for our ninth graders, to kind of start to involve themselves in that Wooten community and to start to show some school spirit. There are tons of different clubs at Wooten. We have 156 of them this year. We have new clubs come and go every year as well. So whatever kind of new kind of fun, trendy thing is happening, there's probably a club for it. We have, a K-pop club this year, for example, and a lot of other fun things. So if your student, or if your child has an interest, there is probably a club that gets pretty close to that interest. If your student likes animals, we have several, clubs that are based on animal well-being. If you're got a young politician there, we have a whole lot of politically minded clubs. And we also have a lot of academic clubs like the National Honor Society or the English Honor Society. We have certain heritage clubs like the South Asian Student Association, the Muslim Student Student Association. And then, of course, we have a lot of other general clubs. We have a wonderful barbecue club that sets up shop outside in the parking lot at our football games and offers a way for students to enjoy each other's company with something on the grill and a soda and to kind of enjoy each other's company that way. We have another general club called the Wooten Wellness Warriors, which is a student-run organization focused on student mental health and well-being. And so we really encourage everybody to come out and join clubs. To advertise a bit about the clubs, usually in the first couple weeks of school, we'll have a club expo or an extracurricular activities expo where all of our clubs will get together and make a little presentation, have a little table available, and to start to get or interest from students. They'll get sign-ups and gather student email addresses so that they can email our students. Many times that's done in our gym. This last year we did it outside because of COVID protocol, and it was actually a lot of fun. It was a very festive, whole atmosphere and experience there. So that's a little bit about clubs. Our club, there is a club organization list that is embedded in this website as well as on our on the Wooten website as well. And so if you're interested, again, you can click on that and view the many different varieties of clubs that we have. And if there are no questions specifically about clubs, thank you, Mr. Roner. I appreciate you modeling that for us. I believe we're at the time where we can kind of just generally consider any questions that you might have. So I would encourage folks to type in the chat or to unmute yourself and ask a question of us.
So there is a question about if we enroll my son in Science B over the summer, will there need to be an adjustment for his schedule? Ms. Markowitz, can you respond to that one, please?
Great question. So the Science B course offered, I believe is what you're referring to at Wooten High School. No, you wouldn't need to adjust the schedule. That's just a prep class, if you will, that would help your child be more successful in preparing for the honors chemistry and honors biology class in 9th grade.
All right, there's a club. Do you have a club that mimics a sorority with service and social activities? We do have a number of service-oriented clubs, and through that, they also do a lot of social activities as well. Some of the honor societies come to mind: Spanish, French, National, et cetera, et cetera. But then there are also clubs that are dedicated to service-oriented activities. And are there any opportunities to travel either through clubs or EFT tour? That's a great question. We have not had travel, as you can imagine, for the last couple of years. And so we may have, usually a teacher will have an opportunity or an extension through one of our programs. I know our music program, they do a lot of traveling to perform and to look at national competitions. So there are some opportunities, but we'll just have to see what next year holds in terms of really being able to return to some of the travel opportunities that we've had in the past. There's another question: what % of students are in clubs? It is well over 85, 87% of our students are involved in extracurriculars, whether it's clubs, athletics. We do find that is a great way for students to unwind, to meet new people, and to really just explore new interests. Or continue with interest. So we have a great number of students who participate in clubs and organizations within the school. And we also have a lot of students who also participate in some great organizations outside of school and then brings those talents into the school. So we really just want to foster and any kind of interest that our students have, the diverse interests that our students have. All right, if there are more questions, you can please put them in the chat. We hope that tonight was a little slower paced in terms of giving you more around the life of the school as you begin to think about transitioning and talking to your students. And, as you're moving through this semester, please be sure to be in touch with us should you have any questions. And of course, as you're working and talking to your students, if things come up, just let us know so that we can plan and help out in any way we can. And I just, again, want to just emphasize, we're so excited to welcome our new class, and we do it well. It can be a little scary at first, but these years fly by. And so we certainly hope that from beginning to end, it's a very great experience for you and for your students. I think there was one more question. What school-wide social events are usually scheduled throughout the year? Oh, that's a great question. We have homecoming dance that's scheduled in the year. They do spirit days and spirit weeks throughout the year. We have usually a spring project, and then all of the grade levels, they also do lots of fundraisers. They do lots of activities as well. Jump in there. I may be missing something.
Pep rally every season.
Yes,
We do pep rallies every season.
Absolutely. So there are great, POF, yes, putting on the hits, TNL. So there's a lot of great activities. Mr. Roner?
Well, and then we always have events in our common area. It's like awesome. Like you walk through the commons, there'll be music going on, our instrument bands will be there, or jazz, or the SGA will be putting on stuff throughout the year. There's just a lot of things going on. It's really neat.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Mr. Rabin, I think that's it for us for this evening. If there's any closing words you'd like to say, then please feel free. Otherwise, thank you for a great evening, and we are so excited to see you. Mr. Rabin, I'll turn it back over to you for closing.
Thank you very much, and thank you for that very informative presentation tonight. I look forward to meeting everyone at the new parent picnic that'll take place in August. You'll be getting emails about that over the summer, and we look forward to meeting you there. And I think all of us here tonight will be there to meet you. And all the clubs will be set up to showcase, to all the students and parents what we have to offer. So hope everybody has a great evening, and we look forward to seeing you really soon. Take care, everybody.